Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. Olivia Mauzell,
Here.
Jean Jonker,
Here.
Joseph,
Here.
myself, and Elizabeth is absent. Okay. All right, so item number 2, anyone here for public comment? Nope. Okay. We'll go right on to public participation. I have this
Can you
evening.
hear me?
Yeah, now I can.
Oh, okay. I couldn't get my audio going. So hold
Oh,
on, let me
okay.
do roll call.
Oh, I just did.
Oh, okay, perfect.
We're moving right along.
All right.
All right. I have the firm Architectural EL here this evening, and they are going to talk to us about renovations to the City Hall chambers. And that would be Marco and Kevin.
Yes, hi everyone. Good evening.
Good evening. I
Kevin,
will then open it up to you two.
All right. Kevin, do you want me to go ahead and
Yep, and we have Sean here as well, Sean Sheedy
Oh,
from
Sean, okay. Hello there, Sean.
So
Yeah.
he's our leader and inspiration in getting some renovation for the city of New York. So
Okay.
Yeah,
But-
that's right.
Hello,
So
everybody.
going here.
okay, so Chris, is it okay if, or Christopher, is it okay if I share screen? I've got a screen up with some information that I'd like to share.
Yes, most certainly. Yes.
All right. So right now I have photographs that I had taken of the City Hall Council chambers. I can, click through these. I think I can here. If I can get to my arrow here. So, in case people aren't, familiar with it, these are 3 basic overview photos here. And I also have a couple of other items here, which I'd like to, and I can get into more detail if people like. I want to try to be brief, to respect people's time. And the other thing that I have is Sean Sheedy from the Holyoke. Oh gosh, I don't see it here all of a sudden. Oh, I know, because it's a PDF file. Excuse me. So Sean had shared this document with me previously. I added the highlights and some notes because some of the items are, let me start from the beginning because I realized I just dove right in. So Sean Sheedy had contacted Architecture Yale about doing some renovation work in the City Hall Council chambers. Sean and I had met in the field, and he had developed this list here, including the cost information. The gist of it is that the City Hall has a preservation restriction that is currently being held by the Massachusetts Historical Commission. And in this preservation restriction, I have it here in case we want to see it, but there's one item that's of particular interest, and when I saw the scope of work that Sean had spelled out, I contacted a historical consultant, Brian Lever of Epsilon, which we work with pretty frequently. And he knew right away. He was able to pull up the preservation restriction very quickly. And, he pointed out this item 3 here on page 2 that the guarantor agrees that no alterations shall be made to the premises, including the alteration of any interior, unless A, it's clearly of minor nature and not affecting the characteristics which contribute to the architectural or historical integrity of the premises, or B, the commission has previously determined that it will not impair such characteristics after reviewing plans and specifications. Those are essentially the important parts of this, because now going back to this list of changes, 3 or 4 of these changes caught my attention right away, and that's removal of the railing, and I'll show you photos in just a moment, and removal of the lower desk and platform. There's also some work about repairing the plaster walls and replicating the mural border. Other items may have been minor, like the furniture that's there now is not historic. Same with the chairs. It does not seem like Mass Historic Commission would have issues about that. Some are probably borderline, but if we're replacing, like the heating system grates and find something similar, Brian did not think that there would be an impact with that. However, these other items are kind of big. This is the railing that we're talking about moving. Clearly that's an important feature in the room. This is the lower desk and platform, which we're talking about removing. And, if people have been there, I'm sure everybody knows, but, all around the room, we have these murals. And so we would be, reworking the murals, repairing. So not to say that we couldn't do this, but, it's sort of above and beyond a simple repair, that was written up in the preservation restriction. Right, so now I'm back to the photos here, and that's the gist of it. Really, is at the suggestion of our historic consultant, we just wanted to make sure that the city, two different branches of the city, the DPW, which I believe is, Sean, you might be able to correct me, but I believe you're working at the bequest of the mayor. The mayor would like to see these chambers renovated. And at the same time, I have a historical consultant saying, hold on now, all these changes are not minor. And we just want to get the opinion of the historical commission as a commission that pretty normally deals with preservation restrictions, although as a commission you don't hold this particular one, as I said, is being held by the MHC. The purpose of this meeting would be just to notify you, let you know, and see if there are opinions. At this point, the next step might be, once we understand your opinion, we can certainly fold that into the equation. We could take the scope of work and have a consultant run this by the Mass Historic Commission to see what their opinion might be, and really is to reach some kind of understanding over what is desired and what is possible. So we're looking for your opinion.
Marco, I think that's a good introduction. And for us as architects, we have a client, one arm of the city, interested in making either some repairs that are potentially much needed to damaged or failing plaster. And then some are functional and operational that need upgrading, just like any other space from time to time. And then we're mindful and respectful of the historic commission's potential role here in guiding, reviewing, and approving, or recommending to the state that does the ultimate or offers the ultimate ruling. So we want to obviously tread carefully. The shopping list is a shopping list that was a program of deficiencies or needs. And then this is kind of the first step in discovering what the steps forward, might look like.
Okay. Now, gentlemen, is it something at some point, do you want me to reach out to Mass Historic, or is that something that you will be dealing with them more directly?
I think we, with our consultant, ultimately would.
Okay.
But I would hate to. I think it's premature to reach out to them because we don't know what we're asking them yet.
Right.
I think we want to get a better understanding, both from you, from our preservation consultant, and from Sean, representing the offices that need alterations or desire alterations. I think we want to go around and maybe come back to you, and then ultimately work towards a proposal that is supportable, such that then when we were presented to Mass Historic, we presume they would reach back out to you and say, what do you know of this? Do you support this project, and what's happening? Because it would be crazy for us to go to Mass Historic without you folks having knowledge of
exactly
what we're talking about, and we're not going to just go tear the place apart. So that's clearly not what we're trying to do here, so.
I think we could always write a letter of support that then when you submit to the state, you could just include that. That might be an easy way to go. Just to say that we've reviewed this. This is XYZ. Here you go.
Olivia, you have a question?
Yeah, I was reading the guidelines on page 7 and 8, and the restriction guidelines, and things that, you know, they divide them into minor and major alterations. And I was looking particularly at the walls. I was, I think, some major things they talk about, but that doesn't seem to apply to the city council chambers. So we should look at those and see if they fall in the minor category or major categories. It talks about obscuring significant original room arrangements, demolishing existing walls. We're not doing that.
No.
You're not creating new openings in walls or permanently sealing off existing openings. The only thing that is the railing, and what would you do with the railing? Could you use that in another location, or is there going to be a railing in place? How is that going to work? And one other thing, I think you probably need to do a project notification form that Marco's familiar with, I know, and Sean will be. So it asks, you know, gets the basics down, and it goes to Mass Historic, and it comes to us, and then that kind of lays the groundwork, so they get an understanding, and they'll come back to us. You're familiar with that, right, Marco?
Yeah, yes, I am the
Yeah.
PNF, and that's something that our historic consultant would be working with. We'd be working with them on that. You were referencing that section about walls and openings, and while you're correct, we're not putting in new walls or making new openings. And I did not review the list in its entirety. There might have been like 20 items on it, but I just picked off the 3 or 4 most important items, which I would imagine, you know, could be the most controversial. You know, the railing is one item, the raised desk and platform is another item that, you know, and I think I don't want to speak for Sean necessarily, but Sean did mention to me that they would like the mayor would like a larger, more open room with less division between the public and the council, the city council, hence, you know, removing the railing, and something that's more Sean, I believe you said more sort of centralized, you know, with tables in a grouping or around the center of the room. So the only way that's possible is to remove those features, which I'm thinking are, at least in the short term, you know, historic, because they certainly look like they've been there for a while. I don't know exactly. And part of our research that I discussed with Brian would be to determine exactly when they were installed. You know, they may have been installed at a later date, and we may want to renovate to a previous period when, who knows, maybe the room was open. However, that does not remove the, you know, the potential for discord between what people want to keep as historic and what people think that, you know, is okay removing.
Can I just insert it also? The railing adds a level of security between the city officials and the public too, which may at times be necessary, unfortunately.
Understood.
I'm going to go on the last page, on page 8. It says changes classified as major alterations are not necessarily unacceptable. Under the preservation restrictions, such changes must be reviewed by the commission and their impact on the historic integrity of the premises. So just because they're major doesn't mean they are workable, perhaps, you know, depending on what the changes are and how we negotiate things, so it's a work in progress. I think we have to get into it a little bit. What would you do? Oh yeah, what would you do with the desk and I guess you'll have to figure that one out, huh? That's the lower desk.
Yeah, so I was gonna say, Marco, if you don't mind, I'll jump in. So hello, everybody. If some of you don't know me, my name is Sean Sheedy. I'm the building maintenance supervisor for the city of Holyoke. And yeah, so this project here, I went to the council. We got some money for this through the mayor, and it is his goal to renovate the council chambers. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so it's our goal to renovate the council chambers, but also to pay homage to what is there, to the historic nature of it, but yet bring it into the 21st century, but yet still having all of its historic features. And like we talked about the railing necessarily wouldn't go away. It would just be maybe redesigned to where the room functions better and we have more room for the counselors to all fit in, say, a horseshoe shape, as opposed to right now it's like a semicircle where most of the counselors' backs are to the public, where we kind of redesign that where that railing can stay in place, or pay homage to that railing with a replica or something to that effect, or we rework it to where you still have that separation, but yet the council chambers itself, where the counselors are, have full room. Everybody can walk by. I don't know if you guys have ever seen a council meeting, but they're kind of scooching behind each other. It's very tight spaced, but with modern design, right, and CAD programming, we can design that to function where it's comfortable, everybody can get around, and we can fit all the components within the chamber itself. As far as the desks go, we talked about maybe removing the lower one, and then you have the upper one staying, and then that upper tier becomes say we have a small step down, the president's there, and then you have a small step down that horseshoes around that to where all the other counselors would be sitting. Now they sit at a desk. Maybe we do some type of millwork or casework where it's built in, similar to what Chicopee has done, Brimfield has done, different places that have paid homage to it, but yet brought it up to modern day codes and speed. As far as some of the other things like the replicas, the murals are so far damaged that there's no way to restore it. The plaster and lat is too far gone. So we're not talking about demoing everything. It would just be to repair the plaster walls and then replicate the murals as back to their original state. And it's not all the murals, because some of them were renovated in 1952. It's on the wall there when the artist did it. And he did the work and he signed it and he put the date, and it's in 1950. I believe it's 1950 or 1952. So it's not the entire thing. It's just only the heavily damaged areas that we would make repairs to. And then the furniture, like Marco's saying, it's probably from the 50s, 60s, whether we do the casework where it's built in and it replicates that old style hardwood with the nice mahogany coloring and everything like that, or we do a furniture that replicates that. That depends. That'll be that I work with the architecture firm and with the design phase of it.
So Sean, that's actually a great summary, right? So Sean's describing, program and design needs and goals for us. So from there, our job is to inventory, work with a preservation consultant, come up with a design solution such that we can then present it to you, hopefully gather your support and endorsement. And then that would then head off towards the state level for review. And then little things might be like, okay, do we reconfigure this would be things that we don't know today, but we would do we reconfigure the railing? Or do we salvage it and build a new one such that the original is preserved? Do we and we do quite a bit of work that has historic preservation tax credits, so we're used to the process. And quite often they don't want you to mimic what it was. They want you to compliment it or, give it its proper due respect without being a copycat, right? You folks have probably seen, a lot of this and or ruled for these kinds of design responses that are sensitive and respectful, that don't take away, and then don't try to either cheat or copy it in an artificial manner. So that would be the whole process that we would, with our historic consultants guidance would say, no, you don't want to use that material. You want to complement, you want to contrast, you want to be lighter, you want to be darker, you want to be cleaner, whatever it is. And that's the kind of guidance that we would take. And so when we were to, the next steps, we would come back to you folks after going through some design options with Sean, and then start to present you with potential plans and impact and scope such that you would understand where we're coming from. And our historic consultant, who wasn't able to be here tonight, would also be around. So, so tonight we don't have answers. If anything, we're just kind of cracking the door open so you can see, that we have this commission from the city. There are needs, socially, politically, clearly it's just a terrible thing for the city councilors to be assembled and with their backs turned on the people, right? Those are big design moves that make a big difference in terms of serving the public. And those are things that we would care about. And that's, we're not just here to just tear things out, put it in the dumpster. So I don't know. It's visual. I think it's, Marco, if I'm wrong, we're really about introducing where we're coming from and keeping you, work along with you folks as we develop the plans.
What's the sort of proposed timeline for like a start on this work?
So Kevin, I think, this would be coming up quickly. We would not want to be sitting on this. And if the, after this, I think we would engage the historical consultant. We could define a scope. We should probably check, as much as Kevin had pointed out, we can review with the historical commission, and it seems like we should all of us be on the same page.
Yes.
And then go see historical commission. We could then do the notification and then see where we land.
Yes.
I think the important part here was in the spirit of collaboration, we wanted to reach out to you and make sure that, you were aware of this project and then that we were able to then work together.
When is the annex starting their work? Does anyone know? Is that going to tie into anything with the city hall?
So the annex, the first step for annex and city hall work is, for annex is the roofing. So that with a few other city sites, the roofing is getting done first. And then we'll come, once that's kind of tied up and wrapped up, then we begin the work on the interior of annex. Yep. So these are separate. This is a separate contract, a separate timeline. So, yep. Even though Architecture EL is working with us on those city projects also, they're involved with that, but this is its own job, its own contract. It's separated from anything else within the city.
Okay.
Has its own budget, its own fund, everything.
Okay.
Does it include the technology that's going to be needed to update it?
It does not, because that is through Holyoke Media. The technology is. And a lot of that was just recently done. For us, it would be figuring out a way to incorporate the technology into the renovation, like with the wiring. How, I don't know if you guys have noticed, there's just cameras basically screwed on the wall and wires flung everywhere, and we would work to hide all of that within the walls or the best way possible, so it doesn't look like a hodgepodge of wires that were just flung in.
And a drop screen and that kind of thing for presentations?
Yeah, so we would work through all of that, whether it was TV mounted, TVs mounted on the wall, or a drop screen, depending on the design that we would come up with. And also too, so like Marco and Kevin are saying, it's going to be a process, right? And there'll be design features and most likely presentations, and also to presenting this to the counselors, right? So we have to present, I'd have to present this at some point with my team here, with Kevin and Marco, and showing what we would like to do and what we're going to do. But because ultimately it is their home, right? Yes, it is in the city, but ultimately they live in there, and we want to make sure that we're doing right by the city and by them.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Much needed. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on anything?
Yeah. Sean, are you able to stay on for a few more minutes? Because we're going to talk about the City Hall plaque.
Yep, I can.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Marco and Kevin, thank you for opening the door and getting this process started.
Thank you all very much.
You're very
Thank
much
you.
looking forward to us,
Right.
and keep us in the loop, and we will be in touch.
Very good.
You will.
Thank you all. Good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. Thank you, Kevin.
Chris, do we want to take 5 out of order so we don't
Yes.
keep on?
Okay, if I can get a motion for that to take item 5 out of order.
I make a motion to take item 5 out of order.
Second.
I second.
All right. We will go to item 5, the plaque placement for City Hall, the Dwight Street entrance. And Joseph, I will let you spearhead that since you were at the last meeting.
Yeah, so we had a meeting. We all met outside of City Hall to discuss. Originally, the discussion was maybe we were going to attach the plaque to the outside of the building. But the outside of the building is like a mixture of smooth and rough stone. So there's not really a good place to put it. So what we had kind of decided is building some sort of, quote, monument at the bottom of the stairs. And I had said I would research what used to be there. It doesn't appear that there was ever anything there, which is interesting because there are these pedestals that looks like there may have been a baluster to a banister. And in most of the historic photos, even like the hand-drawn ones, it doesn't seem like there was ever anything there. So we had said, well, maybe we can recreate what was at the bottom of the steps originally and mount the plaque to that. So I think we either need to design something or I don't know. I don't know what the way forward is, as there was nothing there originally to recreate, which then might create an issue because we would be altering the outside of the building.
Does it have to be on the outside of the building, or could it be in the vestibule?
That's a very good question. I think the initial idea was to mount it somewhere on the outside of the building. There is a monument on the High Street entrance of City Hall that, forgive me, kind of looks like a headstone. We all as a group kind of collectively decided we didn't want to do something like that. So I don't know. We may need to sort of reconvene as a group and come up with other ideas. I mean, I would be fine with it being mounted on the inside. I just think the whole point of the plaque was that they wanted it on the outside of the building.
What's going to happen if there's even more plaques forthcoming? I mean, is this going to be...
Well, so the idea was that if we could create something at the bottom of the steps, we would do one on either side. So one for this plaque, and then let's say when they open the time capsule or we do another dedication, we could mirror image it on the other side and then they would match.
Okay.
But as there was nothing there originally, I don't know what we would be, quote, recreating. That's the issue.
Can it be placed on the door?
It's heavy.
I don't think so.
I don't
Okay.
think so. The initial idea was to place it sort of to the right of the door, but the stone is not smooth and it just doesn't quite work. That's the issue.
I think this will be another discussion then.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Now, who basically, just for instance, like the last plaque that was added in the ballroom, for the CPA, who made that decision? Where did that
Good
happen?
question. I think
Oh.
they just put it wherever they wanted to put it and didn't consult anybody. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, and it doesn't do much for the historical integrity of the stained glass windows.
Do you know anything about that, Sean?
No, I do not. I don't exactly know when that was done.
Okay.
I've been on the city side for a year.
Okay.
So yeah, before here, I was on the school side.
Oh, this was just put up within like the last month?
Yeah.
Where is it?
Right in the middle of the stained glass windows. You can't miss it
In the ballroom upstairs.
in the ballroom.
On which side?
To the right.
On the right side.
that'd be
Dwight,
the High
High
Street.
Street, High Street.
that's-
Yeah.
That'd be the High Street side. And what's the plaque made out of?
Plastic.
I don't know, but
I think-
it's super glued to the wall. I mean, super glued.
Yeah, so I think that was was it for to CPA funds saying that this job was done? Yeah,
Yes.
so part of CPA funding, I think within the rules, I think we have to have that. You have to have some type of signage once the job is done or in progress or whatever, and it has to be mounted. I don't know if it has to stay there the entire time, but if you look around at the playgrounds, the various playgrounds that are being built around the city, like over in the Highlands, there's a sign there that says this project was funded by CPA funds. War Memorial, when we cleaned the outside, that was done by CPA, so I had to mount a sign on the inside, just like at City Hall, on the inside of War Memorial, stating that this project was funded by CPA funds. Your hard tax dollars at work.
Yeah, that's not the issue. It's where they placed it. There was no consultation as to the placement. So when you want to go in and take a look at the stained glass windows as they were intended, okay, you have this visual assault on the eyes right smack in the middle of the windows. And A, it's not centered. B, it's not leveled. And it takes away from the historical significance and integrity of the sequence of the stained glass windows. And it could have been easily placed way on the far left or way on the far right, is to not destroy that view.
Okay, so I'll look into that and see what can be done with it, and I'll reach out to Meg in the CPA.
Oh, she's aware. She's aware of it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll work with her and I'll see what can be done with it.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. But that gets back to the other issue, is the plaque for the building.
Right. I think let me send out an email. I'll email Aaron and et al. And see what they want to do. Because the way we kind of left that meeting was, I think we were all kind of excited at the idea. And then I went back and researched, and unfortunately there was just nothing there to replicate.
Joseph, are there any other city halls or buildings of similar construction? Because Munson Granite was like candy back in the day in this area, that have had to deal with plaques on the outside of the building? Do we know?
I don't offhand. I'm sure we could look and find out. Maybe even some of the churches may have plaques or something that we could look at and see what they've done.
Yeah, and so Joseph, like Joseph was saying earlier, that the tough thing for us is the roughness of that rough cut of the granite on the exterior. So, and then it goes back to where it's supposed to be mounted into the mortar joints. Well, we have a regular mortar joint pattern, right? So that works on maybe brick or something to that effect. But because of the way the granite is laid out, we don't have that specific pattern where we can have a 14 by 14 plaque with studs in the corner and then mount that onto the wall. So if we could do that, right, say we go into the granite, we get some type of an okay to do that, and then you go into the granite, the plaque would have to be off the wall a couple of inches. And then there comes into the play of that vandalism could happen, and where people can just get a pry bar behind there and rip the thing off the wall. And we don't want that. So no matter how much epoxy or bolts get put in it, if you leave that up, something could happen to it. And then it goes back to the irregularity of the mortar joints that we have. So if you guys look up at Dwight Street straight up, what they did was for some dedication plaques, it's in stone, and they cut out the granite and inset that stone in there with those plaques. Now we could do something similar where we cut the stone out, insert a flat granite, like square, rectangle, whatever the shape of the new plaque would be, and then go ahead and mount that bronze plaque or brass plaque to that flat surface. It's an option, but like you said, I don't know if it was never there. Can we do that? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we probably have to check with Mass Historic.
That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, as long as it looks like it belongs there, I don't particularly have an issue with it being mounted into the stone. I think that would be probably the cleanest and easiest, nicest looking way to do it. I just think then, well, I think either way, we need to tell Mass Historic that we're like mounting something on the outside of the building anywhere. So maybe,
do you want me to reach out to them then?
maybe we should, maybe they would have a recommendation about what other city halls have done.
I can do that.
Okay, great. I'd be happy to do that too if you want me to, because
Okay,
kind of been.
perfect.
All right, so I'll just email Aaron and kind of say, hey, this is what's going on. And
It's still
see-
progress then.
yeah, I don't think it was something that was immediate. So
Well, the plaque's not ready anyways, right?
Right.
Yeah.
well, I think the plaque is not ready because they need to know how it's going to be mounted so that it can be done, you know, whatever the mounting's going to be, if they have to make something or if the plaque has to have holes in it or whatever.
Mhm.
So I think the first step is kind of figuring out where it's going to go and how, and then the plaque will be able to be finished.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody, and I look forward to working with you guys.
And
It was-
Sean, I just want to say thank you for your dedication and your interest in preserving historic Holyoke. You know, it's been a pleasure watching you work and see you, you know, share your interest and your dedication to this. So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. It means a lot. I was born and raised here, and I love historic stuff, and I'm not going anywhere. So, like I said, I look forward to working with everybody. Thank you very much.
Good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
you.
Thank you. Perfect. Okay. All right. Well, let's go back to the plaque program, and that would be Olivia. Any update?
I
know
don't
we
have
that
a,
on our plate.
yeah, I have an appointment to see the principal at the Dean Tech on
Okay.
Thursday. So I will know more for next time.
Okay, perfect. Simple enough. Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. Okay. All right, I don't think we need a motion to go back to item 4, which is 115 Newton Street, the demo application.
No, because you just made the motion just to move one item to a different location.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I think all they're doing is notifying us, and I don't think we need to, we're not going to impose a delay, correct? Does anybody have anything to say about this?
It's a very thorough project notification form
Yes.
from Alicia. A lot of the inventory forms speak to the Newton Street scape.
Mhm.
So it might be something that the I don't know what's left there. There those apartments are pretty quaint and colorful, and it might be something that the local district commission might be looking into, something of a district. I don't know. That's something that the local historic district will have to take on and take a look for. So we'll have to take a walk around and see what's left of that, of Newton Street, because it looks like they're losing apartments in strange ways. You know, it's not a complete street anymore. There's vacancies in between the houses. So it's a pretty nasty looking building that's left, and it looks like it's been on fire, and it's probably full of rodents and homeless people. I don't even know if homeless would go in there.
But what's interesting also, though, Olivia, about them is the alleyway. You know, the alleyway for them, because I mean, historically, they're so unique because it shows the old days when the kitchen used to be out in that alleyway section. So if there was a fire, it was limited. Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So I mean, you know, historically, they're quite fascinating. The architecture of those buildings there. I'm old, so I remember all that.
It did mention in the inventory form that it was a possible National Register district. And that was, of course, that was in the 73. So we've lost a couple buildings since then, but
right.
All right. So
yeah, because they used to have ash chutes in the back too, where they would burn all the garbage.
Right.
Yeah.
So I make a motion that we look into the Newton Street scape and see what's left, and try and demolish what in this particular one is 115 Newton Street. Get that out of there and
all right. So can I
clean the
just
neighborhood.
All right, because this is going to be a demo application, and Jennifer did supply some pictures, and I'm sorry I did not forward them to the commission, but this is in an active state of collapse.
Yes.
115.
It's a safety issue.
Right.
So I think we need to vote, especially on 115 Newton, about the demo, and then maybe talk about the local district for the rest of Newton Street. Would that be correct? Or is that what I'm hearing?
Would be
yes, I think two motions, Chris, right? One for the demo and then one for the other.
I don't think we need another motion. I think we're just, it's not our
Jennifer said yes. Yes, Jennifer?
No, I agree with Joseph. I don't think that you need to do a motion.
No,
I think this was only if you want to have a demo delay public hearing.
Right.
Then I would have you do a motion. But if you're not interested in having a demo delay public hearing, then I would just take this as correspondence received.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think we can I either send just like a letter or an email saying we've reviewed it and it all looks good.
But now what about the possibility for the local district?
That's not our commission.
They'll have to take that up.
But would that be something I would just say, Olivia, bring this up to local?
Right, yes. Yeah.
Okay. So can I get a motion then that we are not going to pursue a demo delay for 115 Newton Street?
I make the motion.
Why do we have, I'm confused. Why do we have?
I thought we weren't going to do that. Yeah. Why
You
don't
don't
we
need a motion on this one.
No,
We don't need to say anything. We just approve the letter.
Accept it and move on.
Okay.
I think we can just reply to them and say, we looked at it, this looks good. It's for safety.
Okay, so
Not
go
an
ahead.
issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
The
Thank you.
next one will be different. The next one, you're going to want to do the motion to
Okay.
have a public hearing for a demo delay.
We already did that, didn't we?
No, last month you had a discussion about having the discussion about the public hearing demo delay.
And
So
we
today
voted, and
is where,
I thought we voted on beginning the steps for, I thought we voted to hold it. I thought the vote was the motion was for Olivia to begin the process of the public hearing and all of that.
let me check the notes.
I don't
Do
know.
you
We didn't.
remember, Olivia?
Yeah, we didn't accept the minutes from last meeting yet either, right? Did we?
Right.
No,
I was under the impression that we already did that, and that's why she's been working on it.
I think we talked about, Chris wanted to know the procedures for
Starting the process.
starting the process.
Yes. I believe that is correct. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go then to item 6, the demo application for 435 Maple Street, Our Lady of Guadalupe Church and Rectory.
So
Olivia?
I make a motion that we hold a demo delay public hearing for Our Lady of Guadalupe, and we need to discuss some logistics. And the timeline is tighter than I thought.
Yes.
So the application was taken out in August 23rd, according to the building records. The building permit was pulled. And which means
45.
we have 45 days from the day that it was pulled, which puts us into
Before
Is that
October.
calendar days or business days?
those are business days.
Okay.
In calendar days, we'd be way over the we'd be in trouble.
I thought it was 60 days. Am I wrong?
45.
45?
I
Yeah.
did some research, Joseph. Yes, 45.
Which puts us into 45 days is October 25th.
Okay.
And also the demo delay suggests that notices go out and public hearing notices go out 14 days before the hearing. So, which means that they have to get out by the end of the week, actually. So we got to get busy.
Right.
And we have to find a place. We have to notify the abutters and do some work. So Jennifer, can I come in and see you tomorrow?
Let me check my schedule tomorrow. And we have Chris Burge here too, who helps a lot with the butters stuff still.
Well, I have the abutters,
You have the list, Olivia.
I
right?
have the list. I already
Butters
have the
list.
list, but we need to make labels and mail merge and
Yeah.
do that.
Actually, if you give me the lists, I think I can have the mail merge done here
Oh, okay.
and sent out,
can-
because I think they've done it before.
We did it for the
Local.
Yeah.
local, yes.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you provide me that info, we can just do it from here.
Okay.
Tomorrow, I'm available before 11, and then the
Uh-huh.
rest of my day, I have meetings off and on.
Okay.
Wednesday afternoon, I'm open also. So early Tuesday morning or Wednesday afternoon.
I'll come in tomorrow,
Okay,
like 9:30.
sure,
Okay.
I'll be here.
And I'll send you the abutters Excel file.
Okay, perfect.
There are 59 abutters.
Okay,
So it's not too bad. But we also, Chris, we need to get cobble together a public hearing notice.
Okay, public hearing notice. Okay.
So we could maybe we could rough that out for Jennifer to look at.
Okay. Okay.
The location.
I
Can
know
we
you
do it at
working,
the senior center?
Senior Center does not have hybrid capability. So it all have to be in person.
I mean,
Whereas
they-
the city council chambers have hybrid capability. So I don't know how we ran into difficulty with, because we want to get the neighborhood and the local neighbors to comment. They were sorely missed in the last Zoom meeting. We didn't have any neighborhood input. So Lauren's interest was to get as many of the neighborhood to comment as possible. And there's quite a string of comments on social media about the demolition. So
Yeah, everybody's speculating.
yeah.
I saw you answering everybody.
Yeah. There's a
Nicely done,
Subaru-
Olivia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
I'm just wondering, is there a place near the church that you'd be able to, maybe at the Hoyok Housing Building? Do they have a room with those capabilities? Or, I don't know, I'm just trying to think if there's
Well,
somewhere
we-
around
well-
the neighborhood.
Well, you got Hoyok High. You could probably, tap maybe the Hoyok High Auditorium.
Are they set up for hybrid?
what about the library? Or is that too small?
Well, I guess my question with the senior with the hybrid is the church sort of had an issue with it being on Zoom. Like, who are we hoping to have available for the Zoom? The public, like the neighbors,
public.
or
Public.
Or the
Yeah.
It's a
neighbor?
it's a
I mean-
public hearing.
no? Touche.
Yeah.
I think if we did it in the ward, that might be okay if we don't have the Zoom option.
Well, we could go to the senior center. We don't necessarily have to be hybrid, I suppose,
Does the
I
senior
don't
center
know.
not have Wi-Fi?
They're
Limited.
not set up for, they're not set up for Zoom.
It's a terrible connection as well in there.
Hmm.
Not good at all. But that is true. if
Senior
we have
center
it-
is right there. So
Right.
it's
It's right
kind of,
there. It's right down
right
the
there.
street.
Right. But if not, you could ask the high school, because in the old room 126, that may be set up for hybrid. I mean, they do have their media class, and so the auditorium may have a drop down. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I know
Mhm.
they've done a lot of upgrades there.
Jean, would you like to call the high school and Olivia the senior center?
Sure.
Sure.
Would that be all right?
Yeah, I was just,
They won't remember me. I'll call.
we're looking for
An actual date.
an actual date.
What
So-
date are you looking at? Do you want to do an early bird?
As early as possible, because the
Getting close. Yes.
gala's the 28th. Well, the
Right.
gala's 28th, and we are all going to be super specifically, all of us are going to be busy
Right.
probably that week, the 23rd on.
Right.
So if we could do it the week of the 16th through the 20th, that would be ideal, I think, for all of us. Maybe I'm speaking for the group, but
Mm-hmm.
All right, and that follows basically notifications, the letter time frame.
And what time are you looking at? Are you looking at, because don't forget, when you tap into these buildings, you're looking for, you have to have a policeman or a janitor. You're looking at them providing some kind of staff support too. So,
I think it would have to be after 6 o'clock if we want the public to be able to come after work,
okay,
or like at 6 o'clock.
right.
Uh-huh.
Well, if we can notify either of the two properties, I mean, between, I would love to say like the Wednesday, the 18th.
Well, but we have to post where it's gonna be.
We have to post 14 days before.
Right,
Okay.
but we have to secure the property, so if
Right.
we, you know, a tentative date, maybe if that's okay with the commission, the 18th or the 19th.
19th, yes.
Probably the 19th, because when does local have their meetings? Wednesdays?
Sorry, I don't know.
Olivia, when are your
Local,
Fairfield meetings?
Thursdays.
they're next week.
No, what? Oh, no, oh, okay. Great, then doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. So the 19th, it's better, the further out, the 19th or the 20th
Yeah.
The
would
20th
give
is
us,
Friday.
yeah,
I
So
would do
the
it Thursday.
the
If-
19th looks,
yes. If we can
the
try
best.
to, if we could secure either one of the properties for the 19th. And then I think we will have all of our timeframes covered, correct? If I'm
I think
wrong,
so. I think
yes,
we're safe if we do it the 19th.
okay,
uh-huh. Okay.
all right. And I am going to fill out the paperwork to send to the diocese and the law firm of Egan, Flanagan and Cohen. Along with the project notification form.
The 19th isn't gonna work for Hoyoke High School.
Nope.
Why?
Hoyoke taxpayers debate.
Oh,
Okay,
That's 6 to 8 that same night.
oh, that's a fun one.
Except for, what is that?
The Hoyoke Taxpayers Association debate for the city councilors at large and the school committee at large.
So do we maybe not want to do this on the same night?
So that, yeah. We might lose some of the population then.
Absolutely.
You're gonna lose a lot of the population.
The
What about the
18th,
day before? Yeah.
Jennifer.
That could be a good thing.
Right.
we could do the 23rd, a Monday.
What about the 18th?
I'm just scared of the week after because of the gala.
Yeah.
Everybody is gonna be straight out for the week before. And I think that's just gonna put a tremendous knot in all of us.
Okay, well, let's try for the 18th then.
The 18th, I won't be available, but that doesn't mean, you know, that you can't do it. I just won't be able to be there for that because I have HRA, the Hoyoke Redevelopment Authority, is the 18th.
Okay.
So if we do go the 18th, that means that we have to get the abutter stuff out tomorrow, Wednesday, the latest, right?
Right.
Yes.
Probably tomorrow, actually. Okay.
There's
Okay.
not that many abutting, is there?
50 something.
59.
Yeah.
59.
Yeah, they're mostly the apartment blocks across the street, right? Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
And then you've got, the senior housing, that's not abutting it because the rectory is not
No.
that building.
No.
Am I right?
well,
So
it's
it's
the block. It's the
The block. Right, yeah.
So we would we'll put flyers everywhere,
Yeah.
all around, totally encompassing the blocks. So we'll be busy this week, next week.
But I have one question for Jennifer. Will we get support from OPID that night? I don't know, what would we need, but just questioning.
Neither myself nor Kim will be available because we both have to staff the HRA meeting.
What about Marie?
I can check her calendar and see if she'd be available to do it.
I mean, are we able to set up the Zoom ourselves? Is that?
Well,
something-
if you're doing it,
Oh, that's true.
right,
I've heard-
Sure.
yeah. So it's just a matter of doing what we do now with taking notes, you know, and I mean, yeah, if you're not doing the Zoom option, then you're kind of
Are we able to let's say like record the meeting on my phone
Mhm.
out loud?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a public meeting, yeah,
Okay.
so you can absolutely do that.
We could also approach Holyoke Media too.
I think
Ask
that,
Johan or Scott if they'd be able to set you up with something.
Right, right.
You
Plus,
could do
they
that.
could
They may have the
replay it.
capabilities.
They could replay it. The senior center, they have used Holyoke Media in the past. So,
Yeah, even just to record the meeting, I think would be great so that
yeah,
it's online.
I'll get
Mhm.
something over to Johan.
okay.
I mean,
Olivia,
you can set up the Zoom and just make Chris the co-host or whatever, and so then they could just log in, and then you would have it on the city's Zoom.
Well,
I
the
s-
thing is, if they're having it at the senior center, there's not going to be a Zoom option anyway.
Right.
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 Yeah. But if we do choose to have a hybrid option, absolutely. I mean, I can, set that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
could you-
I just
could
can't
you-
physically, we
Right.
can't physically be there because we'll be
Right.
here at this meeting. That's all.
Where's
But
your?
But I don't want to put it off either. So,
Yeah. Where is your meeting going to be held?
the redevelopment authority, it's here in the
Yeah.
conference room, Westboro
Oh,
conference
okay.
room. Yeah.
No. A
Yeah,
small
that's
group.
why it's not available to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you want me to check on the city council chambers with Jeff downstairs to see if that's if the
Let's
I don't-
check, we
I
need
don't
to
think-
check all options.
Can I sit behind the desk?
Of course you can.
The desk they want to take down?
Yes.
Yeah. I want them to repurpose the desk. Anyways,
Okay,
I don't,
Olivia.
is that going to be large enough space? I mean, I remember when we did Mata Della Rosa, how many people showed up. So, I mean, you have to think about the numbers of people coming, and you don't want to irritate them, having them stuck out in the hallway where they can't
Oh.
get in.
But we also need a place first and foremost. We don't
Right.
have any
Right.
options.
Well, that-
So,
Well, I'll try Holyoke High. Olivia will try
the
the
senior
senior center, and then as she said, we can try the Elmwood senior thing that's right there on Maple Street. They probably have a community room, like Pulaski Heights has a community room.
Who owns that? Do we know?
The city is Elmwood, right? Isn't it a city housing?
Holyoke Housing.
Holyoke Housing, yeah,
Yeah, it's Holyoke Housing Authority.
Cool.
yeah.
So you could reach out to Sarah or Matt or, yeah.
Okay, we'll put that on the list, lower down the list.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we need to vote on? What's the motion here?
can I just finish our checklist? I just want to make sure we're good. I mean, anything else? Didn't mean to interrupt, Joseph.
No.
Olivia, you're the master of the
So
demos.
if you get your packet out to the
Yep.
diocese
Okay,
as by tomorrow or Wednesday,
yep, I can do that.
and
Pay the extra postage for overnight sign delivery.
I want to do that as well. Yes.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do.
and we have to make up a public hearing notice for the newspaper.
Yep, and I will work on that. Okay.
Do you have old ones to mimic?
No, would you mind
You-
sending me one?
There might be some in the drive. I'll take a peek.
Okay.
Wouldn't there be one for the
Oh, there would
public hearing from Fairfield?
Yeah, there should be.
Right. Yes,
So-
Olivia.
For contact information, I mean, should they, if they have questions, should they contact the OPED or the Historical Commission?
I
I
think
don't want to,
I think it should go right to the historical commission at this point.
okay.
Well, we have
At the,
And should we also copy Fairfield? The local?
the
Send it to-
local, yes, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, we'll copy local.
Lauren did want to attend this evening, but she was stuck in Boston, so she was not
Okay.
able to join us.
Yeah.
So I do want to fill her in, but we'll have her support whatever we need as well. But I said I just want to make sure we're good to go. Okay. So I think now we can make a motion.
No, there's already a motion open.
Yep,
Olivia
that's-
made a motion to have a demo delay public hearing. We just
And
need a
Jean
second.
seconds, and I
Oh.
second it.
And then can we get a roll call?
Absolutely. Chris Gothier,
Yes.
Jean Jonker,
Yes.
Luis Salazar. Actually, Luis is gone, so I'm going to remove him from the paperwork. I believe his commission expired October 1st, as a side note. Okay,
That is
Joseph,
correct. Yes.
Yes.
okay. Elizabeth Rodriguez, Olivia Mazel,
Yes.
okay. All set.
Okay.
Okay.
Great.
I wanna, if it's okay with the commission, there's several items, if we can maybe table them to our next meeting. I think Sacred Heart is of much importance right now. But I would just go down the list and say if we can table them until our next meeting, if that's okay with everyone. So number
Yes.
7 would be the continued discussion of archaeological and accountable policies. If we could table that to
Yeah.
our next meeting. Or
Can
do you
we,
have an
can
update?
we table that till after the election?
Yes, okay.
Because there'll be new people that,
I will make a note of that. Anyone else? Okay, we don't have to make a motion though, right, for that, Jennifer?
You can,
No.
I think you can clump them all into one.
That's
Okay.
what I would do. I would make a motion to take all of them in one package,
Okay, all right.
to
So
table them, and then do a standard roll call.
okay, so items, then it would be 7 through. Oh, it's only gonna be 9, but I'll be quick with the others, I promise.
So the
So-
motion to table 7, 8, and 9.
Yes,
Okay, so I make a motion to table 7, 8, and 9.
Second.
Okay, I'll do a roll call. Chris Gothier,
yes,
Jean Jonker,
Yes.
Joseph Mazzola,
Yes.
Elizabeth Rodriguez, Olivia Mazel.
yes.
next
Okay.
item. Okay, item number 10 is the status of the certified local government report. I spoke to Marco with the local. He is finished on his end, and I am still working on my end. So I will have that done very soon.
I did reach out to Jennifer at the state, and
Okay.
and
Oh,
she's
there
fine.
are- Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. Thank you.
I told her,
Thank-
I said, can you give us like a week or so? She's like, oh yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
You know, so just let me
Okay.
know if you need me to jump in and do anything else. I
Okay.
mean, the first section of it, we didn't have any demo delays.
There's nothing, right,
So there's nothing to list there,
right,
you
right.
know, so it's just
Right.
filling in the rest of it.
I just
So
gotta
let
move
me
along.
know.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay.
All right. Well, then we'll go right to item number 11, the status of the Pioneer Valley planning update. Have you heard anything?
I
know-
have,
Okay, ooh, okay.
I have. Hold on one second. I'll pull it up. So I found out that because Pioneer Valley Planning Commission is an intergovernmental, there's an intergovernmental exemption. So I sent the scope of work that Shannon had given us to legal to take a look at. And so I just need them to sign off on the scope of work. And we don't have to go out to bid or anything. We can deal with Pioneer Valley directly.
Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
Yep, so once I get the sign off on the scope of work, I'll have to go through and do a whole agreement and everything with them with the
Okay.
scope of work, which we can walk through. And
Okay.
then we just meet with Shannon and start getting the work done.
So it's happening. Beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 12, any announcements? Nothing?
Well, we have the Keitt Holyoke scavenger hunt that has begun.
All right.
And I know some people have already signed up for it on Eventbrite. I went in and checked. So all the placing of signs was effective.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good job, Peter.
Yes, Peter.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? Nothing? Okay. Item 13, reports from commissioners attending other board and committee meetings.
What can we say? The gala committee is working hard. The silent auction part is working hard. We're putting things together, getting the website hopefully to work. We're hopefully going to have Wi-Fi in City Hall that will function. We're working on the time capsule, right, Jennifer? That's moving right along. And the book. Oh, which reminds me, is the Historical Commission going to submit a congratulatory letter for the commemorative book?
If you'd like us to.
Well, I just thought I would throw it out there. I mean, considering the Historical Commission is 51 years old this year, I looked it up. We missed the 50th last year. I just thought maybe it would be nice to have a page from the Historical Commission and to congratulate the city on its anniversary.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know what folks think. It's just a thought.
Okay.
Page and book.
What do you think, Joseph?
Sounds good to me.
Do we need a motion for that?
Wouldn't be a bad idea. Do I have a motion to write a letter?
I make the motion to write a letter for the commemorative book congratulating the city on its 150th.
And can I get a second?
I
Second.
sec. Okay.
And a
Who is
roll
that?
call?
Joe?
Chris Gauthier,
Yes.
Jean Jonker,
Yes.
Joseph Mazzola,
Yes.
Elizabeth Rodriguez, Olivia Moselle.
Yes.
And then we also have Doors Open coming up, and the Preservation Trust is hosting, assisting with the tour at the train station. And I have to say, so far, the last time I checked, 75 people have signed up for that.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
always, yeah, that's
It's
always
very
a good.
popular, very popular. So we're very
Yeah.
pleased with that. Yeah. And I can't think of anything right off the top of my head other than those items.
Okay. All right, I will go now to item 14, new and old business. I will start first with September 11th minutes. I'm sorry I didn't add that to the agenda. So if we could get a motion to approve those, if anyone had any questions or.
I make a motion to approve the 9/11 minutes.
Second.
Second.
Roll call. Olivia Moselle,
Yes.
Joseph Mazzola,
Yes.
Louis Salazar, Jean Jonker,
Yes.
Chris Gauthier.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Just some very quick, I'm dealing with the mayor, with Tyler Kane. We did find out that there was no residency requirement, but he did explain to me they are an architect in the lower wards. So I have put the question, we do need to have an architect for our bylaws, so I am waiting to hear from him on any further information on that. This is actually, let's see what else. Sorry, bear with me. I've been in touch with the CPA for the preservation restriction for the rights block. There was some question about our last signatures that we did for Girls Incorporated. And I did ask them if we could just keep the procedure again, the same going forward with the first page. I think it was the chair's signature. Following, we get everything notarized with the attorney, and then it goes back to the actual applicant. So that was just something Amy and Meg and I were talking about with this latest preservation restriction. Does that make sense? Questions?
No.
Concern? No? Okay. And the last we'll bring up is 144 High Street. And I have been in correspondence with George. And let me just verify. I just want to make sure my email's here. Just bear with me for 1 second. George and Kevin, they are basically looking for a meeting between the mayor, the commission, and the property owners, and also the city solicitor. And we are basically going to discuss the situation at hand and the best way that we are going to move forward. And they have asked for a few dates so we can try to schedule something. I know George is here tonight. I don't know, Mr. Shaw, would you like to say anything, or? I think he's with us, but he's on mute.
Oh, there he is. You're on mute.
Hey, George, you're on mute. You're on mute. Oh. Is that just a wave?
Yeah,
Okay.
there we go.
There we go.
There you go.
No, I'm just basically here to observe. I don't
Okay.
have any comments.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I have nothing else then on my agenda. Does anyone else have anything?
So we had talked earlier about Louise.
Oh, yes, you are
His
correct. Thank you.
term is up. So that does that give us another opening? I don't remember. I know. So we nominated Tyler and Zaisha. Were the two of them, were one of them supposed to fill Louise's slot, or do we need other people?
Well, we also have another issue. Elizabeth is strike number 3. So basically in our bylaws, I think we can vote to say no longer as well.
That's why I wanted to have a vote on the bylaws so that
Okay.
we can start implementing those things.
Right.
Does that mean we can't until?
I
Thing.
would suggest that you don't.
Okay.
I agree.
Yeah, no, right now we have what? We have 6 current members, 5 full members and 1 alternate.
Mhm.
So it says we have 2 alternate vacancies.
Do we have 7? Are we 7 commissioners and 2 alternates, or?
Jean is an alternate, correct?
Jean is an alternate.
I'm asking in general.
You can have up to 7.
You can have up to 7 total.
Total, so it's 5 commissioners and 2 alternates.
Now, the alternates, the alternates are extra, aren't they?
Are extra,
They are-
right? Yeah,
they're
yeah. You
extra.
can, yeah. So you can have 7 and then plus 2 alternates.
So we're
You
really
can have
down
up to
people
7
then.
full commissioners, right? So you
Yeah.
have what, 5 right now?
4, 'cause,
5,
counting
right?
Louise.
If we,
because-
right,
1, 2, 3,
4
4.
full and then the 1 alternate, correct?
So
Right.
we're Zaisha, I saw her last week at the TDI meeting and she wasn't sure she had heard any communication.
Okay,
I think the mayor told Chris that she was good to go.
which means that it should be, I don't think I saw it on the city council meeting
no,
agenda for tomorrow,
no, I don't know
which
if maybe
means that it won't make it until the 17th.
right. So I don't know if that had officially, if that letter had been, I don't know what the final
Let
determination
me,
was there.
hold on.
I think
Let
we
me
were
check
kind
and
of,
see if we got a letter.
okay. I think we were kind of hoping to take Tyler and Zaisha together.
Hmm. And I also, I mean, so Lewis's term is up. What happens, Jennifer? That's Just it?
Yeah, it's just vacated, I guess, you know, for purposes of the commission. Now it's an opening that you can fill.
Yeah.
Trying to see where we left off with Zaisha.
I got the email from the mayor that she was good to go, and, you know, I
Just that
assume
he did the letter though, right?
that's all he said.
Yeah, so we only have the letter, so we have to wait for city council to act on it.
Okay.
So, and like I said, I didn't look in particular to see, but I'll check the agenda because they have their full meeting tomorrow.
Okay,
So this month they meet the 3rd and the 17th.
okay,
So if it's not on for tomorrow night, hopefully it'll be on for the 17th. And
Okay.
again, if you watch council enough, sometimes they go
Mhm.
through nice and easy, and then other times it's a little more complicated and takes a little bit longer. So
Yeah.
we'll
Oftentimes
know once, yeah,
the committee. I mean, I think I had to go to committee, but that was easy breezy. That was not
right.
difficult.
So
in
we'll
any-
see so we'll see what happens once it gets there, but I'll check and see if it's on, but I don't think it was on when I reviewed the agenda quickly earlier today.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
I
I'll
wanted
certainly
to
keep
let
an
her
eye out.
know. I wanted to let her know just so then she could start attending meetings.
Mhm.
Even if she, she can't vote, obviously, but I think it's good to, like
I would
had-
absolutely have her attend the meetings. Yeah, she
Yeah.
just can't, I mean, she can't vote, but she can still participate,
gotta
you know?
start,
Mhm,
definitely.
mhm.
Right, and getting familiar with where you guys are, where you're headed, what
Mhm.
projects you're already looking at, which will be conversations that we'll have, probably me and not all of you, because I want to avoid a quorum,
Right.
but what moving forward with Shannon, because now we've got the 2 different pots of money,
Right.
so I want to, yep. So we'll
Perfect.
be having those conversations offline, and then we can bring them back to the commission as things start to come together.
Awesome, perfect, thank you, thank you. Okay, as we see, it's getting dark at Olivia's house.
Yes.
I love your
Okay.
background though, Olivia. I love it.
Ah, it was so nice today.
Mhm.
We
She's
have a-
closing her swimming pool.
Yes, it's gone.
Bye-bye.
The season's over.
Okay,
Sad.
we have our next meeting scheduled for November 13th.
Uh-huh.
Is that okay for everyone?
Yeah, I'll be back with my Polish class, which starts at 6:30. Yeah, I think it's 6:30, unless he changes it. Just letting you know.
I'm trying to keep the meetings under an hour. I mean, I think,
Yeah.
to move along.
Well, if you have a new member, then you don't have to worry about my vote either. So you'd have a quorum.
That's true. Very
we
true.
Yeah.
wouldn't have her then.
No, we
Well-
won't have it at the next meeting at least. No,
Yeah.
correct. Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn? It is 6:53.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so Chris, yes. Jean,
Yes.
yes. Joseph, Olivia.
Yes, 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 yes.
And as they say in Polish, do widzenia.
Exactly.